The margins with online book arbitrage or Amazon to Amazon book flips is absolutely insane. Today, I'm going to go over a number of examples that prove that point. And before we get into the video, I do want to shout out BookMine Mini. It's a free tool that my good friend Victor and I built. It basically gives you 600 free book leads every day. That's 50 book leads every 2 hours. And you can see, look, there's a book that's 28 bucks. It's been selling for $50 plus basically the whole past year. There's a book that's down to 18. Looks like it was recently selling at 50. And so on and so forth. There's going to be tons of books that if you're just getting started with online book arbitrage and you don't have any money to pay for softwares, to pay for Keepa, to pay for BookMine, any of that stuff, just go grab BookMine Mini. It's absolutely free. And so with that said, let's get in the video. All right, one of the books that I like to flip are just long tail books that don't sell very often, but do sell for a very high historical use price. So this book right here, this Fiat 500 book, doesn't have very many sales rank drops over the last year, but it definitely does sell. When you look at the last 3,600 days, in any given year, it's selling at the least, at the minimum price of like $30 up to 50 or 60 bucks. And so I was actually able to pick this up on BookMine in July when this is actually BookMine Explorer. This got down to $4.90 plus shipping. So I was actually able to pick it up for $8.94 and then turn right back around and actually sell multiple copies just a couple months ago for $53 and $54. So when you put in the purchase price at $8.49 and the selling price at $54.90, that's a $27 profit and a 305% return on investment just off of one book. And that's completely a book that you can find, again, off of BookMine Mini, obviously off of BookMine. And yeah, insane margins. Never had to touch that book. It went right to a prep center, right to the Amazon warehouse, and then right to the customer. Here's another book right here called The Alchemy of Finance. I was actually able to pick this up on September 13th. I did pick up multiple copies. This one in particular I bought for $19.59, all in shipping. And when you scroll down here to the Keepa graph, again, this is a book that over its long historical, lifespan has sold on the low end in the mid 30s, all the way up into the 50s and 60s. And when I show you my order page, you can see how, I've been able to sell this multiple times. 57, 63, 59, 55, 50, and this is all in the last month. So this is actually going to be a book that I would consider a replenishable book as long as it does get down to that price again, which it does look like it does. You can see in March it got down there, and then recently in September again, when I was able to pick up copies, it got that low. And when you look at this book over the last few years, you can see there are multiple periods where this book has gotten well under 20 bucks. And again, for a book that shows such a good long track record of selling between 40, 50, and up to 60 bucks, this is a book that I'd recommend tracking. So if you click on this track product button above the Keepa graph and you put a tracking price, in this case I have 18 bucks including shipping, anytime that happens, I'm gonna get notified so that I can potentially go pick up more copies of it. The next book is Month by Month Gardening in Louisiana. I bought this September 7th, and you can see I spent a total of $19.96 for this. And when you look at my order history, you can see over the last few months, I've been able to sell every single copy for about 70 bucks. And again, the reason why I picked this up is really simple. When you look at its long-term historical average selling price, on the low end, it looks like it sells in the, the low 40s up to the 50s and 60s. It's a book that, going back to 2017, 2018, 2019, it doesn't matter what year you go back to. It's a book that actually holds a tremendous amount of value. And so when it does show up on BookMine Mini, again, 100% free, go check it out, go sign up, or it shows up on BookMine as well. You have the opportunity to pick up multiple copies, which is what I was able to do here in September, turn right back around and sell multiple copies. I'm now out of stock on this, but again, this is a book that I consider a replenishable book. And so anytime this book goes below 24 bucks, I'm going to be interested in picking it up. Again, because my data is the best data and my data shows that I can easily sell this for about 70 bucks. Now at $19.96 and a $69 selling price, we just made a $29 profit and 145% margin, which is, again, absolutely insane considering I never even have ever touched this book. Next book is a Teacher's Edition high school book. I bought this on September 3rd for a total of $34.22. And you can see I just recently sold it for 100 bucks about a month ago, right at the tail end of the August textbook season. And when you look at this Keepa graph, you can see over the last year, it's, generally had an average price between 70 and 90 bucks. That's kind of what it's worth long term. If you go back to 2022, 2023, 2024, even though there may have been periods where it was cheaper, I would consider those periods to actually pick this book up because, in order for you to be able to flip books profitably, you actually do need them to come down in price so you have an opportunity to buy them. But again, Another great pickup, just recently picked it up for, again, 34 bucks, flipped it for 100, made a $35 profit, 103% ROI. Same thing with this book. Anytime it gets below probably 30 bucks, I'll be interested in picking up another copy. Next, we have Modern Compiler Implementation. I love this because it's a long tail book. I actually bought these copies in February of this year, so we're getting close to 10 months ago. You can see I paid a total of $31.44. I was able to sell multiple copies, one for $77 and one for $89. And when you look at this particular keeper graph, again, long term, over its historical, 10-year or entire decade long history, it doesn't sell a ton, but it definitely does sell. And the more important thing is it holds a very high use price. It's very rarely ever cheap. It's actually almost always expensive. And of course, there have been periods of time where you could have picked it up very cheap. But this is a book that in February, got pretty cheap. I was able to pick it up for about $31.44 and was able to sell, again, both of those copies within a 10-month time span, which I consider great when you're looking at this type of return on investment. 100% return, $33 profit, and another great flip. Our next book is, of course, Essentials of Pathophysiology. So I was able to pick this up, actually multiple copies, for $30.43. And I was actually able to pick that up back in May. And this is a book that sold during the August textbook season. So you can see $90, $89, $79. So those all sold during August. And this is a great seasonal book. I mean, it sells incredibly well, both in January and in August. And you can tell that with the sales rank bowl. When the sales rank gets that low, it almost looks like a bowl, both in January and August. It means that, wow, there's just a ton of sell-through rate for this particular book. And with these seasonal books, you're looking for mountains. You see the lowest use price does go up in price. And so this is a book right now. It's probably a little bit too expensive. It's about 54 bucks, but just recently it would have been on BookMine at right around 30 bucks plus shipping. And you definitely could have picked it. I should have picked up more copies. I would have paid right around 35 and been able to flip them for probably close to 90 bucks again. All right, next book I'm going to show you is Mathematics for Elementary School Teachers. I bought this on March 15th. Again, quite a while ago. I bought this for a total of 26 bucks and just recently sold it. Actually, 3 months ago, I sold it in the August textbook season. It's only took about, what would that be, about 5 months to sell, but it sold for $126.95. When we put in the purchase price and the selling price of $126.95, we get a $64 profit, 214% return on investment. And again, when you look at this keeper graph, very similar, a book that doesn't sell a ton. It definitely does have some seasonality in August. And in 2023 and 2024 was selling well over 100 bucks. In January, February this year is kind of in the $80 range, but still being able to pick this book up for about 30 bucks, which is, almost 40% to 40%, was 60% off of what it was selling for in January, with the potential of being able to sell for a lot more in August. I thought that, hey, this is a good bet. I was able to sell for, again, 126, make a pretty hefty margin. And yeah, great book. Now, before I leave you with this video, I want to share with you a couple of awesome winning textbooks that you could be or consider picking up here in the near future. So this particular book, there's actually tons of them like this, but wow, just an amazing high school book that I just found on BookMine. And so this is a book that every August you can see has a mountain. It basically goes up into the $60 range and then comes back down to about 10 bucks, goes up to about 50, 60 there, about 70, 80 there, and then just recently went up to about 60 bucks again. And now it's on BookMine. Why? Because it was selling in the 60s. It's now in the 20s. And potentially you could wait till January, February to pick this book up a little bit cheaper. But I mean, if you just look at the data here, I don't see how that doesn't look like an amazing book. I mean, the pattern there is pretty evident. Every year you have a mountain in August, just like that. Every year you see the used offer count drop like this, and you can see that happening more and more. So just a book that it looks pretty crazy. Again, it's just sitting on BookMine right now. Here's another book that's sitting on BookMine. This is The Unfinished Nation, A Concise History of the American People. If you specifically look at the last 3 August textbook seasons, this one has done incredibly well. Huge mountains there at the lowest use price. And this is now sitting at about 18 bucks plus shipping on Amazon when it was just selling for 60 bucks just a month and a half ago. So again, that could be a book to consider picking up. Also has a little bit of a January textbook season. And you need to know, Victor and I don't really tell you to exploit the prime bump. There definitely is a mountain with the prime bump there as well. But to be as safe and conservative as possible, what you really want to do is have a plan to sell this in August when actually all of the used copies and their prices go up in value. So another great book there. Again, just sitting on BookMine. And lastly, I have to show this book because it is just an amazing book. This is the Reader's Digest Merry Christmas Songbook. Victor and I, Victor started sharing this in 2019. I interviewed him in 2022 and shared this book with people. And yeah, some people are going to say, Joji and Victor, you guys made an impact on the offer count. And I would say that there's truth to that. Definitely the book doesn't perform as well as it used to, but you can't tell me there's anything wrong with buying a book for $5 and then now selling up here in the 30s. You could have multiple copies of this book selling in the $30 range. So you buy it for like $8 shipped to your house, $9 shipped to your house, sell for $30 to $35. You're making 100% ROI on every copy that you have. And that's a book that Victor and I have been sharing year after year after year. And again, it's the Reader's Digest Merry Christmas Songbook. And this book also will be showing up on BookMine probably in February when prices come back down and again, it becomes undervalued. So moral of the story is online book arbitrage, in my eyes, is king. The returns and the margins on these books that we're flipping are just crazy. Pair that with the fact that you never even touch the book. You just ship it to a prep center and the prep center ships it to Amazon for you and Amazon ships to the customer via FBA. And even with all the numbers that I shared today, all those margins include all those fees. It includes the Amazon fees, the inbound shipping fees, the prep center fees, the referral fee from Amazon. It includes everything, and we're still able to make that margin without ever touching the book. So here's what you gotta do if you're interested in online book arbitrage. Come to BookMine Mini. It's absolutely free. Sign up for it. You'll find books like this that are priced at $54. Basically, over the last year, this book has sold well over $100, sometimes up to $150, and you're gonna be able to find numerous books like that, including seasonal books, which will enable you to see if the business model actually works. Like, it's one thing to watch me show you these books that I actually have shown, and I actually provide real evidence. Here's what I bought it for. Here's what I sold it for. Here's how long it took to sell. Here was the profit was. But at some point, you have to try it on your own. And the best way to do that is to try it for free and see if the business model works. So that sounds good to you. Sign up for BookMine Mini. It'll be linked down in the description. But that's all I got for you today. I'll see you guys in the next one.